You know, when you are following debates on the internet, you find yourself a lot of time having some form of insane argumentation errors. You know, people are not trying to be right in a debate, they are trying to look right. That is why they are resulting for common, misleading tactics like argument from authority or straw manning. That's a quite popular one. However, there is one what I myself call crapmaning, which is not the same as strawman, but I saw it lots of times. You know, strawman is when you are taking your opponent's argument and twist it and contort it in a way which does not represent your opposition any shape or form, but it's just so insane, so bad that it's really easy to defeat. So you are start to argue against this constructed version of your opponent's argument instead of just trying to argue directly with your opponent. That's the strawman. You are fighting with the strawman instead of your opponent. However, there's another version of this which I call the crapman or shitman. You know, you might give me some ideas, how you would like to interpret this. But the main difference between the crapman and the strawman is that you are not misconstructing the argument what was made, but instead you are trying to find the worst possible person who has the same argument as you, and then acting like that person represents you. A great example for that is that, for example, in video games right now, there are many times people are upset because of ugly characters or, feminism or some progressive ideas. And therefore, the argument should follow that, they are trying to convince you that no, it's better for the gaming industry or whatever. Whatever the reason is that they believe that is a good thing. However, instead of doing that, what they do is finding those tweets, finding those Reddit posts, finding those, unhinged messages, which are just insane. Like death threats or harassing messages and just completely unhinged ramblings on the internet, and just act like that this is the opposition. Everybody who doesn't agree with you has this level of insanity. That is why I call it crapman, because they are not deconstructing your argument. The argument is the same. For example, you don't like ugly female characters in video games. That's the argument. You don't necessarily have high-level justifications for them. You just simply don't enjoy them and don't want to spend your money for them. However, there are going to be a lot of people on the internet who are going to express the exact same idea in a completely unacceptable and unhinged way. And then your opposition can just use them as a representation of you. And it just happens so many times, especially in the gaming world. So if you are a gamer, you saw this over and over again, this kind of argumentation, that people are just trying to find the most unhinged, most unacceptable person in your group, in your side of the argument, and just pretend that your entire group is represented by this person, and everybody just agrees with it. That is why there so many times argue about that, death threats and harassment and whatever happened in the background. And any normal person, any just people would just say, yeah, that's bad. We don't support that. Nobody supports that. But still, we're just going to pretend that nobody said that. We're just going to pretend that if you don't like, for example, Last of Us, that you are just a harasser. You are just the same as the person who sent death threats to the voice actor of Abby. That was completely unacceptable. Nobody supports that. But still, you could be painted as that person because you are in the same group as that person. You see? Now that's the difference between a strawman or a crapman. Shitman? Okay? Just give me in the comments what you believe would be a good name for this. And I just, had this thought, I just remembered this Crapman thing because I just stumbled upon a article on the internet. And it described that Neil Druckmann, the leader of Naughty Dog, is prepping up the new female lead actress for the upcoming harassment which is coming to her way. Because she's a female who's going to lead in a video game, therefore she's going to be harassed. And, I'm looking at the article and no. What are you talking about? We just had Baldur's Gate 3 with a lot of wonderful female actresses. I'm not aware that anybody harassed them or attacked them or whatever because they are in a video game. We just had Expedition 33. Again, it's voice acted, motion captured by extremely talented people. I'm not aware anyone who's harassing them. Of course, the internet is a big place and keep in mind, there are insane people in this world. And I'm not talking about figuratively, literally insane people, okay? Who should be closed off in a sealed ward level of crazy. And maybe they are not yet closed off from society, or they never will because, the social structures are not detecting it. But there are completely dangerously insane people on the world around us. And they have internet access. You see the problem? So, and yes, these completely insane people have an internet access. They consume media, they consume entertainment, and they have an opinion. They can register into Reddit. They can register into Twitter, and just have the most insane worldview because they are literally insane. So, no matter what you like, video games, movies, music, there are going to be clinically insane people who like that same thing. And when something is happening which just triggers them and their mind is going to go apeshit, they are going to say and do things which is unacceptable. Keep in mind that these people do not represent the majority. These people are just that, insane people. But if you resort to crapmaning, no matter where you are going to get absolute apeshit hate messages. Even right now, here, I have around 50 subscribers on YouTube. And yet, I got hate messages, insane hate messages, for simply stating that in the latest episode of Last of Us, I found the "I'm gonna be a dad" line cringe. Which is actually the majority of the people agreeing with me. That was a cringe line. You can like the show, you can dislike the show, regardless of this fact, but that's it. That was a cringy line. And I called it out. And bam, hate messages. The internet is like this. But we have to differentiate between legitimate harassment, between legitimate dangerous insanity, and, just regular trolling and just regular negative impulses on the internet. And all too many times when, for game developers and people like that, it's just convenient, they're just trying to pretend that these really, really easily identifiable trolls, who are just most likely 11-year-old kids who just spamming just some hate messages on Twitter or something, they are somehow representative of the entire gamer community, millions of people. Yeah. But whatever. I watched this article, and in this article they had a couple of pictures of the woman in question. And I have to say that on those pictures, that is a beautiful young woman. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm going to cut the pictures here. And I just, watching those pictures, and what, are you trying to tell me that this woman getting harassed because of her looks, that because her in a video game? I mean, she's kind of reminiscent for me of Karlach from Baldur's Gate 3, and everybody loves her. And okay, then I'm just watch the pictures, and yeah, this is a completely fine looking woman. This is a really beautiful young lady. What's the problem? And then comes the picture from the game. Oh, now I get it. Why do you uglify women? Again, you can take side by side the pictures of the real human being and the pictures from the game. And no, the difference is not just that in real life she's wearing makeup. Because that's not true. There are pictures of her where she wears extremely minimal makeup or no makeup at all. And she's looking just fine, just as fine as on the completely, painted pictures. No, in that video game, she is uglified. She's intentionally looking, more masculine. Her facial features, her eyes, her eyebrows, completely different shape, completely different tones. She's uglified. She's intentionally made more, not even tomboyish, more masculine. And, okay, that's a design choice. That's what they wanted to do. That's how they imagined their main character to look like. Fine. I mean, a lot of people are not going to like that. And, yes, people released this trailer. They just showed that to the world. Hey, gamers, what you think about this new game? And what the gamer said? Yeah, this is ugly. Not looking good at all. I'm not going to buy this. What did you even think? And then came, the obvious crapmaning, what I just talked about. That some people start to send hate messages, some people started to send insanely unhinged and unreasonable comments and such. And of course, those were shown to everyone. You see, the gamers are just losing their minds because of strong female characters in the lead. They don't want females in leading characters. They don't want females in video games. And it's just funny that they are attacking these gamers for, on one hand, being afraid of strong, beautiful females, your strong, beautiful women in video game, and also saying that they just want top models in video games. That oh, so if somebody is not a top model, they cannot be in a game, right? But on the other hand, they also say that, what are you talking about, that this is not a beautiful woman? Look at these pictures, and they themselves showing the pictures of the real life actors. This is a beautiful woman. You're just an incel and don't know how a beautiful woman looks like. And they themselves are showing it. You see, what are you talking about? It's a beautiful woman. Here are the pictures. Yeah, but she's ugly in the game. Oh, you're afraid that of not top model women in video games. By the way, she is a top model. But you are afraid that she's not a top model in video game. It just doesn't make any sense. But of course, crapmaning your side. It's not strawmanning because, they're not just misinterpreting your point. They are also taking the most unhinged version of that point to just talk about not the topic in hand, but how people expressed their point of view in that topic. From that point on, they're not talking about whether or not it's okay to uglify an actress for a video game character. So whether or not if it's okay to uglify a woman to appear in a video game. No, we're not talking about that. We are talking about that this person was so unhinged that he sent death threats to that person. Yeah, it's much easier that way, right? And okay, still, I can understand the rumbling, messages around this topic and even the hate messages and such. But I mean, come on, she really has to prepare for really, really severe death threats and such because of this. Because the articles start to talk about that she is getting prepped up, she's getting prepared, she's getting boot camped to how to handle online harassment at the level of severity what is coming to her way. And okay, I understand the negativity towards her character. And I can see that a lot of hatred might come to her own way, but, I mean, not that level. Let's be fair. And then, what did I find? This actress just shared, a picture about her character, a fan art, where she's drinking a bubble tea or whatever with Ciri, and the caption says, fragile masculinity tea, 100% incel tears, are you mad bro? And also captions like that. And she shared that. So it's not like that, okay, lots of people are unhinged on the internet, I'm not going to engage with that, they are insane. We just do our part, we're trying to make a good video game and, just be humble and normal and nice to the people and just try to convince gamers that, believe me, this is going to be a great product. Believe me, my character is actually a badass. Give her a chance, you will like her. No. Are you mad, bro? I'm drinking your incel tears. And after that, a couple of weeks later, an article is written about how she's getting prepped up for the hate wave which is coming on her way. I mean, dude, you created that wave. I mean, quite literally, you just took an entire population of people, gamers, and called them incels. All of them. And you act surprised that people are mad? That people are upset by this? So yeah, I mean, the level of insanity is just crazy. And the other part of this picture, what has been shared here, is that if the in-game character would have looked like on the poster what she shared, nobody would complain at all. On the poster, both Ciri and both her character looks beautiful. They have a nice makeup, they are having nice feminine facial features, they literally fixed every design choices what the incels were calling out. You know? So they themselves, when they shared their fan art, they actually feminized the character. They actually did the exact same thing what the criticism was about. With the captions, "Are you mad, bro?" No, if the character would look like on your picture, I wouldn't be mad. Not at all. That's the point, isn't it? But you know, that's the Crapmaning part. And then I just want to talk about, you know, the Ciri on this picture. Because that is a completely different topic. It's not even comparable. What happened with Ciri is the complete opposite what happened to her. You see, Ciri is on this picture because around that time when this image was shared, there was a big outrage about Ciri as well. You know, the next Witcher game is coming out, and Ciri is going to be the lead character, the protagonist on that game. And, you know, there was a reveal trailer of the new Witcher game. Everybody's hyped, everybody's getting prepared. And in this reveal trailer, Ciri has, let's just say, not really good pictures made about her. You know, I myself thought that this problem is overblown. So, because, yes, some frames, some shots are really awkward. So, you know, it's a little bit of a fisheye camera and it's too close to her, so the perspective is not really good. So, overall, she looks fine, and, you know, there are many shots and there are many positions where we can see her face and we can see that she's actually beautiful. She's completely fine. However, what is shared the most is the first picture. And I must say that even though I do believe that in that trailer Ciri looks completely fine, she looks beautiful, only there are a couple of shots of her which is really awkward and just you know, has this weird, uncanny sense to it. Now, even though I just said that I do believe that she's looking beautiful in that trailer, I completely, 100% agree every criticism what that trailer said regarding Ciri's look. And the reason is that that picture what's being shared, you know, where that Ciri is ugly, oh my god, that picture is literally the first picture you see Ciri in. You know, this is the first impression. This picture is the first impression you have with Ciri and this new game. You know, the trailer is about to build up this character. The trailer is about to build up the new Witcher entry. So Ciri is, you know, just walking among the crowds. We don't see her face. We just see that, you know, this badass person just, you know, walking in the crowd. And then somebody calls her out. You know, the camera is behind her. And she's turning around and says some badass thing. And this is the frame where she looks like, I can't even describe it, a ghoulish look, okay? Like a potato. So, yeah, you just say that this is just an awkward shot. Fair enough. But this awkward shot is the very first impression of Ciri, what you saw ever. This is the first promotion video, this is the first trailer, and this is the first face reveal of Ciri. If you know anything about marketing, first impressions can make or break a game. Forspoken, for example, literally was done by the first trailer because of the cringeworthy dialogue it had. And it literally killed that game. So yes, the first impression is insanely important. So making an awkward shot like that to face reveal your character, and then later on, oh, she's not ugly like this was just a bad shot. Dude, you made this the face reveal. This is the face reveal of Ciri. So yeah, you can send me the other pictures that, look, she's not ugly at all, it was just a bad shot. In this picture, she's looking completely fine. In this picture, you can see her real face is completely normal. Great, then why did you mess it up? You really don't know how the internet works, you really don't know how marketing works. That was the face reveal of Ciri. So yeah, even though I myself do believe that Ciri looked completely fine in that trailer. However, her face reveal was a 0 out of 10. Okay? So, getting back to this fragile masculinity thing, you know, Ciri being on that picture is not valid at all. Because that was a messed up face reveal. She's not looking ugly in the games at all. Since that we got a lot of frames and screenshots that how she actually looks, you know, the detailed model from different perspectives, and she looks completely fine. She's a beautiful woman. However, her character is intentionally made ugly, and it is ugly. Looks nothing like the real-life actress. Just made ugly to, make a point. I'm not even sure why this became a trend, but yes, Western AAA studios just insist on making females ugly. We cannot have sexualized women's in video games, where sexualized means they're beautiful. We started with the revealing clothing. Yes, I mean, sure, it doesn't really make sense that they have cutouts in their dresses, like it's literally not protecting anything. So wearing practical clothes and such, which is not that revealing. Sure, I mean, that's fair enough. But why make them ugly? Well, I'm not the designer of these games, but I guess maybe I should. Because, like it or not, having beautiful women in your game is boosting up your sales numbers like hell. If cosplayers, beautiful young women around the world want to cosplay your character because she's so hot, that's going to make you a lot of sales. It's just how it is. But we'll see. I really don't believe that this next game of Naughty Dog has a bright future. It's like Rachel Zegler with the Snow White. She's not necessarily a good cast to begin with, but they intentionally made her look really bad, so the first impression is insanely bad towards this game, and then they double down by calling out their entire fanbase to be incels and fragile masculinity and whatever. You are aware that you want to convince these people to buy your game, right? Because these people are the one who either make or break your game. I guess they don't believe so or don't know. Who knows? Okay, whatever, we'll see. Alright,